All right, for week 12, okay, we were supposed to go over a few things. So you have your lecture notes, which we have already finished up. After you finish the lecture notes, please do go and attempt your week 12 section of the Google Shells lecture page quiz. Just to reiterate on it, uh, week 12 lecture was the very last lecture for the course. After this, you may not have any other lectures. So what are we going to do in the lecture classes? In next week, we'll try to cover up all the labs on payback analysis, because with payback analysis, today we'll be looking at a portion of the things. Okay, remainder of it, we'll try to finish it in next week's lecture and tutorial / lab class. Week 14 and week 15 will start looking at revision work, so you're well prepared for your final examinations. Now, I prepared your final exam paper myself. It's neither too easy, it's neither too hard. It's going to be pretty moderate and slightly challenging at the same time. Now, a few things to note: that in your final exam paper, I will be definitely testing you on the use case diagrams, birth charts, payback analysis, and all the different types of modeling requirement tools that we actually have done in the class, including Gantt charts. In one way or the other, I'll be testing those out. So please ensure that you're learning them well. So without further delays, let's go and start looking at your tutorial questions. So not too much of the tutorial questions. You had 8 tutorial questions, so we'll discuss them straight up. Okay. Now, question number 1, provide a checklist of issues to consider when selecting a system architecture. Now, the question talks about providing a checklist. Now, you need to be very careful while you're answering questions in your final examinations, where it says provide a list or list down state. That means you're listing something. When it asks you to describe, explain, or briefly write down, so these require some sort of explanations from your end. So we'll go and quickly discuss this. And over here, we're supposed to provide with a checklist. So for question number 1, let me read the question again. Provide a checklist of issues to consider when selecting a system architecture. First of all, the very first thing in your checklist is the system architecture needs to meet the objectives of the organization. The system architecture needs to meet the objectives of the organization. Next point, initial cost and total cost of ownership. Initial costs and total cost of ownership.
So can you repeat that, please?
Thank you. It was Semi, right? So it's initial cost and total cost of ownership. All right. Next point is scalability. Scalability. After that, your next list is on web integration. Web integration. Next point on the checklist is legacy system interface requirements. Legacy systems are old systems in the organization. So legacy system interface requirements. Legacy system interface requirements. After that is processing options. Processing options. Processing options. Next up is security issues. Security issues. Security issues. So overall, these are the few things that needs to be catered in your checklist when designing or when you're selecting a system architecture. So you have the architecture should meet the objectives of the organization, initial cost and total cost of ownership, scalability, web integration, legacy system interface requirements, processing options, and finally, security issues. So all these needs to be well catered for. Question number 2. Describe servers, server-based processing, client, and client-based processing. Noted, Shannon. Thank you. So, to list down the answer, first of all, we'll describe what is a server. So, put down servers and give a hyphen or a dash. So servers are computers that supply data. Servers are computers that supply data. Are computers that supply data, comma, processing services, comma, processing services, comma, or other support, or other support to one or more computers. To one or more computers, called clients, full stop. Called clients, full stop. So servers are computers that supply data, processing services, comma, or other support to one or more computers, called clients. So that's the definition of a server. Moving on to server-based processing. So can you put down server-based processing followed by a dash or a hyphen? It refers to the terminals, comma. It refers to the terminals, comma, terminal, Terminals, comma. It refers to terminals, comma, which allows users to enter, which allows users to enter and access data from, and access, ACCESS, data from anywhere in the organization, anywhere in the organization, comma, regardless of where the centralized, regardless of where the centralized computer is located. Computer is located. Full stop. So server-based processing, it refers to terminals, which allows users to enter and access data from anywhere in the organization, regardless of where the centralized computer is located. Full stop. Next up, client. Put on client followed by a hyphen. Hyphen means a dash, by the way. So it is one or more computers, one or more computers. It is one or more computers connected to a server. Connected to a server. Full stop. So clients, these are one or more computers connected to a server. Now, client-based processing. List down client-based processing followed by a hyphen. It is where clients share data. It is where clients share data. Clients share data stored on a local server. Stored on a local server that supports a group of users, that supports a group of users, or a department, full stop, or a department, full stop. So client-based processing is where clients share data stored on a local server that supports a group of users or a department. Full stop. Question number 3. So question number 3 reads as explained client-server architecture, including tiers, cost-benefit issues, and performance. So over here, we have a bit more to write, okay? So client-server architecture is where a client-server architecture is where architecture is where a client requests for information, a client requests for information and server response and server responds. Full stop. It is a computing model. It is a computing model in which the server hosts, comma, in which the server hosts, comma, delivers and manages, delivers and manages most of the resources and services, most of the resources and services to be consumed by the client, to be consumed by the client. Full stop. Now, within this question, we are supposed to include tiers. So generally in a client server architecture, there are 2-tier designs and 3-tier designs. So put down client server tiers, TIERS tiers, and list down below it 2-tier design and 3-tier design. Two-tier design and 3-tier design. And next up, put down a subtopic and write down cost benefit issues, cost benefit issues, first of all, write down client server systems enable the firm client server, client slash server. That's how we write down client server systems, enable the firm to scale the system in a rapidly changing environment. In a rapidly changing environment. Full stop. Next point, underneath cost benefit issues, client server computing also allows, client slash server computing also allows companies to transfer applications, companies to transfer applications from expensive mainframes to less expensive, from expensive mainframes to less expensive client platforms. Full stop. Now, the question also asked about including client server performance issues. So can you list down it as a subtopic, client server performance issues? And beneath that, put up a bullet point or a hyphen and write down this. In contrast to the centralized system, comma, a client server design separates applications and data. A client server design separates application and data. Next point, a client server system is scalable. A client server system is scalable. Next point, The system is less likely to experience. The system is less likely to experience catastrophic failure. Catastrophic, CATASTROPHIC, catastrophic failure. Catastrophic, CATASTROPHIC, catastrophic failure. Full stop. So that was the answer for question number 3. Question number 4. Compare in-house e-commerce development with packaged solutions. So what I would ask you to do is to just have like a comparison table whereby we list down something for e-commerce development, in-house e-commerce development, and also in the next side we'll list down something for packaged software. Okay, so let's start writing it down. Okay, for in-house e-commerce site, requires analysis of business needs. Requires analysis of business needs. Analysis of business needs, full stop. Right underneath that, write down require user input. Require user input. Next point, underneath that, determine IT resources. Determine IT resources, comma, example. Determine IT resources, comma, example. Skills, comma, training. Example, skills, comma, training. Hardware, comma, software. Hardware, comma, software. And experience. And experience, full stop. Next point. Consider integration requirements. Consider integration requirements. Next up, develop the project in a modular form. Develop the project in a modular form. MODULAR. Modular form. And lastly, test every aspect of the site. Test every aspect, ASPECT, every aspect of the site exhaustively. Exhaustively, EXHAUSTIVELY, exhaustively. Test every aspect of the site exhaustively. That means rigorously. If you find exhaustively difficult, you can write down rigorously, or you can write down over and over again in simple terms, or you can also write down to detail. Now, on your next side of the table, you have package solutions. Write down many vendors offer turnkey systems. Many vendors, VENDORS, many vendors offer, OFFER, turnkey systems for companies. Many vendors offer turnkey, TURNKEY, turnkey systems for companies. Next point. Use an ASP, application service provider. Use an ASP. Next point. Use managed hosting. Use managed hosting. That's it. Full stop. Question number 5. Discuss the potential impact of computing and Web 2.0. Okay, so let's write it down. Envisions a second generation of the web. Envisions, ENVISIONS, envisions a second generation of the web that will enable people to collaborate that will enable people to collaborate, comma, interact, collaborate, 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 comma, interact, and share information more dynamically, and share information more dynamically, 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 full stop. Web 2.0 also include features such as Web 2.0 also includes features such as wiki, WIKI, wiki. Wiki is another word of like blog, wiki, and internet operating systems. wiki and internet operating systems. Full stop. Alrighty, question number 6. Explain the difference between online and batch processing. So first of all, we'll try to define what online processing is. Online processing avoids delays. Online processing avoid delays. Avoid delays and enables processing to take place instantly. And enables processing to take place instantly. Example, ATM machines. Whereas batch processing allows processing to take place on a predetermined schedule. Full stop. Now remember, the question is asking difference between the two. It's not asking for definition. Okay, so let's put down some differences. Okay, online processing requires constant dialogue. In fact, can you cut down requirements, requires, and write down allows? Online processing allows constant dialogues between the user and the system. Between the user and the system. Whereas batch processing requires no user involvement. Whereas batch processing requires no user involvement. Full stop. Let's put another difference. Online processing requires more resources than batch processing. Online processing requires more resources than batch processing. All right. That's question number 6. Question number 7. Define network topology, including hierarchical, buzz, ring, and star models. So we'll go and define what is network topology, and after that we'll go and define what all these topologies include, or what are they. First of all, network topology is the arrangement of the elements of a communication network. Arrangement of the elements of a communication network. Now let's go and define hierarchical network. So can you put down hierarchical network? Okay, now it mirrors the actual operational flow it mirrors the actual operational flow in the organization. That means how the organization is organized on the departmental structure and the managerial level and at the executive level. This is how the network will be set up. Next up, bus network. Devices are attached to a common cable. Devices are attached to a common cable known as the bus cable. Next up is the ring network. Devices are again connected to a common network. Devices are again connected to a common network. However, in a circular ring structure. However, in a circular ring structure. full stop. Data flows in one direction only in a ring network. Data flows in one direction only in a ring network. Full stop. Next topology is a star network. So a star network has a central device which connects all the nodes in a network. Nodes, N-O-D-E-S. Central device that connect all the nodes in a network. So hierarchical, fuzz, ring, and star models. Question number 8, list down the features of the system design specification. Okay, so there are some typical features. We have about 6 of them. We'll list it out. Now I have changed the question from what you guys have on here. It says design the systems, describe the system design specification. Can you change it to list down the features of the system design specification? Pardon me for that, I made an error while I wrote down the question and module. Okay, so we are supposed to list down the features of the system design specification. So first feature is management summary. Management summary is the first one. Next up is system components. System components. Next up is system environment. After that, implementation requirements. Implementation requirements. Then comes time and cost estimates. Time and cost estimates. And finally, additional materials. So that finishes up our tutorial questions for week 12. Now, the next session of the class is going to be on labs, okay? And we are going to talk about payback analysis. So there's two versions of payback analysis. First of all, in the one which you actually go and calculate the present value, okay? So the present value option, that will be our second option, and we'll start working on them from next week onwards. In this week's class, we'll be just talking about a simple cumulative cost is equals to cumulative benefit, which leads to a payback analysis or payback period. Okay, so let's go and discussed on this. So let's say you have a system with 60,000. Okay, so you have, let's say, either you've bought or you've developed the system. So what you want to do is over the phase of certain number of years, you want to see on which year would the system actually pay back for the entire amount that you have spent. So we'll put down years as such. Now always remember, in when you're calculating payback analysis, your year always starts with a 0, whereby the 0 year actually caters for the initial point in time where you have invested on the system, and will take in 6 more years. All right, so this is what you have, and then you'll have the costs, and then you have cumulative costs, followed by benefits and cumulative benefits. By the way, cumulative means combined. Okay, now here's the thing, we'll have the table done. Now before we get the table done, we always need to know this. Okay, payback period is equals to, or is determined when your cumulative benefits is equals to cumulative costs. Okay, now your costs will be already given. So year 0, you are not given the cost. So first year you have 17,000. Second year you have 18,500. Third year, let's say you have 19,200. Fourth year you have 21,000. Second year you have 22,000, and the third year you have 23,300. And your benefits, so benefits for before you even start in the first year is 3,000. Your second year benefit is 28,000. Your first year, sorry, is 28,000. Your second year is 31,000. Your fourth year is 34. Sorry, third year is 34,000. Your fifth year is 36,000. Your next year is 39,000. Finally, you get 42,000. Okay, so these are your benefits. Now, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to find out the cumulative costs and the cumulative benefits and see where is the meeting point between those two. So what I will do is I'll put these in bold. These values are given beforehand. And pardon me, my Excel is frozen up. And I will go and bold this up as well. So these are the pre-values or the pre-written values that you've given in. Now you start feeding in the values of your own. So year 0, the cost is at the moment blank. Now the cost here would be the cost of the system, which is $60,000. So that is what you fill in. Now cumulative cost is whereby each and every cost that has incurred in the years, you'll add it up with the initial costs. In other words, for your 0 very first year, the actual cost is just $60,000. So you'll have $60,000 over here. Now, in the first year, you had another cost of $17,000 that comes in. So the cumulative cost for year 1 would be is 60,000 plus 17,000. So that gives you a value of 77,000. Next up, in the second year, so this is the value, the cumulative cost that stands for the system, $77,000. So you'll add up with 18,500. So that gives you a value of 95,500. After that, 95,500 plus your additional cost for the third year is 19,200. It gives you a cumulative cost value of 114,700. After that, 114,700, you'll add it up to 21,000, which is the additional cost that is incurred for the 4th year. So your value here is, oops, pardon me, is equals to 114,700 plus 21,000. That gives you 135,700. So to find out the total cumulative cost for the 5th year, so you'll add up the total cost for the 4th year plus the new cost 22,200, sorry, just 22,000 rather, which is incurred for the 4th year, which gives you a value of 157,700. Next up, you'll add up the total cost till the 5th year, which is 157,700 plus your 6th year had an incurred cost of 23,300. You'll add it up. So in total, this is the total amount of cost that is incurred till the 6th year of operating with the system. So 181,000. Now benefits. Benefits, so you'll start off the very same way that you did for the costs. So it's equals to your very first benefit here, which is 3,000. So it's 3,000. Your cumulative benefits for the first year is 3,000 plus 28,000. Next up, your total benefits till the first year was 31,000. So you add it up with the additional benefits that it incurred in the second year. That's also 31,000, gives you a total value of 62,000. After that, you will add the total cumulative benefits from year 2 and add it up to the next set of benefits, that is for year 3, 34,000. So it gives you a total of 96,000. Next up is equals to 96,000 plus 36,000, which gives you a value of 132,000. After that, your total benefits derived all the way till the 4th year, let's subtract that, plus you add the new benefits value for the 5th year, which is 39,000, gives you 171,000. After that, your total cumulative benefits all the way down to year 5 is 171,000 plus 42,000 gives you a value of $213,000. Now, what we want to do is we want to find out what is a payback period. Now, the payback period is when your cumulative benefits is equals to cumulative costs. So let's go and see where is the meeting point. So on the second year, 95,500, which is 62,000, no way it's meeting. Third year, 114,000 is the total cumulative cost. You have 96,000 again, still missing. Now in the 4th year, you have 132,000 as your cumulative benefits, and then you have 135,700 as your cumulative costs, still short by 3,000 something, $3,500. That means still the 4th year is not the meeting point. That means on the 5th year, this is where they meet, whereby the cumulative benefits 171,000 and the cumulative cost is 157,700. Now what you need to do is you can put down that by somewhere reaching or somewhere close to 5th year, it is able to pay back for the system. But this is not how the organizations function. They want the exact date and time. Right, so this is what you're going to do. So from here, what you'll have to do is, first of all, you'll have to go and find out what is the difference between this and what is the difference between this. Okay, so let's go and work on this. The very first one that we'll do is, now can somebody tell me how can we do this? Anyone here can tell me how can we do this? Any mathematicians around?
So can you repeat what you said again? What you asked?
Okay. For example, I want to know what is the exact period in which whereby your cumulative benefits is equals to cumulative costs. So in other words, 4 years something months took place for the system to have a meeting point, a break-even point. Okay, that's the correct word. So how will you go and calculate in such a way so that you know on which year and on which month is whereby your cumulative benefits is equals to cumulative costs? How would you go on doing it? Anyone? Now this is an easy and a simple way to do this. How do you do that? Now this is what I'll do. Okay, so I will have the years written here. So this is year and then 4 and 5, and these are your values. Is equals to, this is the value here and equals to this, and this is your cumulative costs. And then let's have your cumulative benefits, okay, equals to the 4th year this side and equals to the 5th year this side. So what I want to do next is I want to know what is the difference between the two, okay, especially with this. All right, okay, so this is what I'll do, equals to 5th year minus the value of the 4th year. So I get 39,000 as my total value. All right, now what I want to do next is see what is the deficit value from this side to that side. Okay, that means if you have a look at this, that means 3,700 is a deficit value, if I'm not wrong, if you want to calculate this. So therefore 135,700 minus 132,000. So I get the value as 37,000. That means if I would add another 3,700 to the value of 132,000, I should be able to get the total point, total break-even point. So what do we do next? Let me see if anyone is able to figure out. Now do some calculations. I'll give you about 5 to 10 minutes. Figure out what is the exact year and month in which you'll get the break-even point. Play around these values. Let's get you thinking. I'll give you 10 minutes to figure it out. Think. How will you do that? Anyone managed to figure it out? Anyone? Okay, let's make it simple. Let's not waste time. Okay, so this is how you do it. So you have the difference value of the 2 years from year 5, year 4, and year 5. So the value is 22,000. And then you have the difference value for the cumulative benefits from the 2 years, year 4 and year 5. So therefore, if you want to know on which year you would reach a break-even point, so this is what you simply do. So you will go and do equal to 22,000 over 39,000. So that will give you the amount in terms of an yearly basis. So you'll divide it by 2, you multiply it by 12. So the value that you get is 6.77. Let's go and reduce this. So 6.77. Okay, so this is in terms of months. So in 6.77 months, you are able to cater for the remaining $22,000. With me, Sammy? Sounds confusing.
So that's between the 4th year and the 5th year. The 5th
Yes.
year.
So therefore your payback period would be 4 years and 6.77 months. All right, it's pretty simple. What you do is you get the difference for your total costs between the 2 years, and you get the difference for your total benefits between the 2 years. So the difference for your total costs over the difference of the total benefits multiply by 12. So that it'll tell you in how many months that particular value would be catered for. Okay, so in this case, it's 22,000 over 39,000 multiplied by 12 will give you a value of 6.77. All right, all good, Sammy?
So
yeah,
in this case, for the cost, like if you compare it with the sign when we're doing, cost is it the expenses or something?
yes, cost with the total expenses. Yes, total cost with the total expenses. For example, in your case, when you're working on the website, so your website has a yearly hosting fee and the domain fee. So those costs will be adding on. You are hiring a consultant to look after your social media web pages and so forth. So those would be the ongoing cost for that number of years. And the benefits is actually the amount that you earn on a yearly basis. So you add that up and then try to find out what is your total cumulative cost in the total cumulative benefits. So based on that, you will go and actually figure out what will be your payback period.
So why is the cost and want it to be like the same every month and every year?
Come again, Sammy, I'm not able to hear you. Come again?
Like for the profits, since we're estimating, won't it be like the same? Like,
yep.
For example,
it can be same. The profits can be same, even the cost will be same. Now, what you have to do is, in that case, what you'll have to do is you'll actually have to go and figure out where is the break-even point.
okay.
Yeah, because with the webs, the thing is this, it's just a prediction, because your sale amount, it can vary every now and then. Not necessarily always you'll get the same amount of the sale, but that's your prediction as to how much you're going to earn. Even if the cost and the benefits remain the same for the certain number of years or period, that's fine. It's totally fine, as long as what you'll do is you'll go and figure out what is your payback period.
Right. And does it include the debt, or is it just the initial cost?
The debt is going to be costs. the debt is also going to be the costs. So if you're paying debt, I think the debt is on a monthly basis in the project. So you have to convert that into yearly basis, and then that could be listed on the yearly costs that you have. Now your debt is supposed to get finished up at a certain period of time. So then your cost will start varying once it's finished up. Right?
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's have a look at this again. Okay. Now this value here, I've made an error. Pardon me for this. I'll need to correct this just before you actually get it wrong in the project. Okay, I made an error here. Okay, now what you'll do is I'll remove this. Okay, just try to reset and have a look at what I'm doing again. Now over here, if you actually go and see, this is the difference value, not this. Why? Because you're comparing the core total cost with the total benefits. All right, so what you'll do is you'll get the highest amount, which is the cost, and minus it with the benefits. So this is the difference, 3,700. All okay so far, Semi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the difference that you want to get. Now what you're saying is the difference that you get here, okay, how much you would be able to pay it back, okay, within that same year. All right, so what I will do is I will do a calculation equals to, so the difference over 132,000 multiplied by 12. So 0.33. Now this is a correct value because I once actually got 6 months, I thought no, something is wrong. Why something is wrong? Because the difference between the two is just 3,700. Okay, so what you'll do is this value that you get, you'll have to edit here. So 4 years and 0.33 months. So in most likely 4 months. So most likely it would be paid in the 4th year and in January, the very first month. This is correct at the moment. What I did previously was incorrect. So please don't carry that forward, use this figure. So what I'm doing is this. Let's give an explanation for this so that you have a good track of it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at year 4, okay, and I'm also looking at the CC and the CV for the 4th year. So once I have that, what I do is I will go and minus the values, CB minus CC, that is for the 4th year. So whatever value I get from there, the next thing I'm going to do is the value divided by CB multiplied by 12. Why 12? Because 12 months. So then I will get my value in terms of months. So 4 year, and if you look at the value here, 0.336. So we'll add 1 to the value. So if I have to reduce this into 2 decimal points, so 0.34. So 4 years and 0.34 months. Now this value is absolutely correct and it makes sense now. Okay, so this is on how you actually go around calculating the payback analysis. Now it's close to about 11:30 at the moment, so this is where we'll stop for today. Now what I would like you to do is if you could go onto Moodle and attempt, let me get back to the page. Okay, this is where we are. Can you go back to Moodle and look at the exercise that you have for payback analysis, exercise 1, and try to calculate the cumulative costs, calculate the cumulative benefits, and when is the payback period. Get that done, and in next week's Monday's class, where we are supposed to have our lectures, but we are done with the lectures already. We'll go over this, and I'll put up 2 or 3 exercises more, and we'll go over that. Is that fine, Sammy? Okay, I think Monesh has disconnected as well. Make sure that is because there's power failure in local class. So those guys are facing issues, and so much also with Shannon and them. So those of you who have missed out, please go over the recording. Okay, I have stopped the discussion for the exercise because I want all of you to be online so that we can actually go and interact with one another as to where you're confused. Okay, so try to get this done, and in next week's Monday's class, we'll discuss this definitely.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Sami.
We having Prophet Muhammad's birthday next week. Are we gonna still have
Oh, yes, we have a public holiday, right? Okay, now for the public holiday, we're not going to have a class. Okay, so Monday we are not going to have the class. We'll sort something out, and most likely we'll go over this in Thursday's class then. All right, public holiday, no classes. Okay.
Right.
All right, so thank you very much, Semi, and those of you who will be watching the video later onwards. I appreciate your time and efforts. Please try to keep up with the major project and also try to get your lecture-based quizzes done. All right, till then, take care, stay safe. See you all next week. Vinaka.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.